So I am actually in Michigan for the next couple of days taking care of my grandmother. But as you guys know me, the hunt can't be stopped. That's right. I am on the hunt again, and I'm going to try to hit up a couple of comic shops here in Michigan, including one that bears the name of the comic shop that I used to go to as a kid. And I say bears the name because the comic shop has actually moved. I think that it has a new owner. So it is basically my boyhood comic shop in name only. But we are going to go there nevertheless. The goal is to hit today at least 3 comic shops that are pretty close by. I need to say somewhat close to the house in case my grandmother needs me. But she's like, get out of here, go have some fun. So that is what we are going to do. Stay tuned. So I just finished up at Time Travelers, and I spoke with the owner, and no, I've never been to the shop before, and this guy's owned this shop for a long time, and the name is not a borrowed name. It's always been named this. So I clearly have a faulty memory. There's no doubt about that. I have a faulty memory. I don't know anything. So if you are in Michigan or from Michigan and you went to a comic shop back in the day in Ferndale, Michigan, and remember the name of the comic shop, please let me know. That way I can put this mystery to rest. But I finished up in Time Travelers. It's an awesome shop. I picked up a couple of things that will probably be given away as part of an upcoming trivia night. Didn't see anything for myself that I wanted to buy. They had a lot of Amazing Spider-Man. They had a lot of Silver Age books, but nothing that I was looking for or needed. But I was really impressed with the selection. I mean, they had 3 of the Iron Man Submariner #1s, the one-shots. You can go to shops all day long and won't see 1 copy. They had 3 copies. So it was definitely a shop that has some inventory. You can tell that they've been there for a while. A lot of new comics, a lot of old comics, a lot of back stock, a lot of toys, a lot of everything. So shout out to Time Travelers for being an awesome comic shop. So we are headed down the road, and we're going to hit up another comic shop or 2. And so as best I can, I will try to shoot some footage for you guys. So I think that the hunt is over. I've actually hit 3 comic shops over the last couple of hours all across various parts of Michigan. And back at my grandmother's house now, I'm going to go in here, try to convince her to hit another shop with me, but we'll see whether she's on board with that. But today's been a pretty good day so far. I hit 3 shops. In the last shop, I managed to actually get a little something for myself. Nothing crazy special, but a cool book that I picked up that I'll show you guys in a couple of moments. But I had a really cool interaction with some guys that were in the shop. I met the owner, whose name was Chris Brown. Almost cracked a joke about, "Don't punch me, bro." Chris seemed to have a good sense of humor, so you probably would have gotten where I was going with that. But I had a good conversation with him. Seems like an awesome guy. He actually had a solid wall. He had a solid wall of some comics that would put larger shops to shame. I'm gonna just be honest. His wall was pretty solid. You guys are actually gonna see some of the footage. But I had a great time talking with him. He actually had a Lobo 1. I have never seen Lobo 1 in a comic shop before. Chris had a copy of it. I came this close to buying it, to be honest with you, but decided against it. He unfortunately didn't have issue number 2, which is what I actually need. So the hunt definitely continues for that. But had a wonderful conversation with him. Also had a conversation with a local Detroit artist by the name of Eric. And Eric has a character that he has created that he's been working with for a very long period of time. He actually had an awesome comic, actually 3 issues of a comic and a trade and a poster. This dude was set, right? But he was a Detroit born and raised guy that is doing some pretty awesome stuff with a mature comic. Had to pick it up, picked up all 3 issues. He signed it for me. We had a great conversation. So definitely it was one of those things where you go into a shop, you're not sure what to expect, but you walk away having had a great experience. So shout out to Chris and Eric. Thank you guys for making my visit a memorable one. And for you guys that are watching this, stay tuned, because either Granny and I will be out shopping for more comics, or you'll see me in the comic book room with a stack of books. Regie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and welcome to day 2. We are on the hunt again, and I say we because I'm actually joined by my grandmother. You can see her on camera back there. She doesn't like being on film, but we got her in the video. So stay tuned. We are headed to another part of Michigan. We are hoping to hit at least one comic shop today and take you guys along for the ride. Comic book room and ready to show you guys some of the books that I picked up during my recent trip to Michigan. And I'm only going to show you some of the books because many of the books that I picked up will actually be given away as part of trivia night. And because this video is already long enough, I'm only going to show you some of the books. But here goes. The first book that I picked up that will be given away as part of trivia night is this one here. It is Silver Surfer number 1. I want to say this might be like volume 2, maybe, but it's definitely a really cool Silver Surfer cover right here. So that's one of the books. Next up, we have Lady Death, and I've never actually seen a Lady Death book in the wild, and that is part of the reason why I decided to pick it up, because I thought it was a little different. So we went ahead and snagged that one. Next up, some Jack Kirby goodness with Demon number 13. Really cool cover here. I just started reading Demon number 1, and it's interesting. So I want to continue reading. Not sure if I'll reach 13, but this was a really cool book that I spotted. Next up, we have Black Goliath number 2. I had never seen one of these in a while before, so I decided to pick it up. And you guys know I like to give away some different things if I can. Speaking of different, here is Captain America number 1. This is actually, I believe, when Rob Liefeld came back to Marvel after doing some things over at Image. He was given an opportunity to work on Captain America, and this is the first issue in his arc that he worked on. Next up, Rima, the Jungle Girl, issue number 1. And again, I had never seen this book in a while before, so I wanted to go ahead and pick that up. And then the last book that I'll show you that I'll be giving away as part of an upcoming trivia night is this one right here, The Mighty Thor, starring in The Tales of Asgard number 1. And this is actually, I do believe, a square-bound book. So there you have it. Those are just some of the books that are going to be given away at some point during one of the trivia nights. I have another stack of books that I'm not going to show you guys, but they are also, I think, pretty solid books. So I do want to show you guys a couple of the, and you may have seen these earlier in the video. This is 3 books from a local Detroit artist, and I believe that he wrote, drew, and inked all 3 of his issues. This is Max the Inebriated Rabbit number 1 by Eric Gutierrez. I believe that's how you say his last name. That is issue number 1. And Eric, I had a chance to meet him. He actually signed this one for me. Here is issue number 3. Who doesn't love an inebriated rabbit? And then here's the very cool issue number 3. That one's really cool. Sorry, the last one was 2 and this is 3. Definitely a really cool cover on this one. And Eric kind of told me that I think he started working with this character originally back in 2015. He was saying he then took a lot of his original work the first time and kind of then redid it for issues 1 through 3. And he kind of said that as he went from issue 1 through 3, that his artwork, his style, his technique actually improved dramatically. So I was very pleased to meet him and to support him, and I'm actually looking forward to checking these out as well. So Eric, if you're watching this, shout out to you, brother, and thank you very much for hooking me up with these books. The last two books that I'm going to show you in this video are 2 books that I picked up for myself. The first was picked up at Comics to Go, which is where I met Eric. This shop was run by a guy by the name of Chris Brown. The second book that I'll show you, I picked up at Sancta Sanctorium in Plymouth, Michigan, a place that I've done business with online before. I've mentioned them in other videos, but I finally had a chance to actually visit. So I was thankful that I was able to pick up 2 awesome books from 2 really cool shops. The first book is King Size Annual number 12 of Amazing Spider-Man. Really cool book right here. And this is one that I needed for the collection. It is a square-bound book, and with a press and a little clean on that spine, I think this book is going to be in solid shape. And as I told you guys, I had some issues finding these annuals in the wilds, but as of late, I've been scoring. There were actually 2 others that I passed on that were a little rougher, that I felt like I could probably find them elsewhere, so I passed on those, but I was happy to pick up at least one book. The very last book is one that I saw. As soon as I saw it, I knew this book was coming home with me. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 18. A really, really cool book here. I think this one came out in 1964. Really cool book here featuring the Sandman. This may actually be the second appearance of the Sandman, but I need to check that. But definitely a really cool book here that I am pleased to have in the collection. And now I get to cross off 2 additional books from my run that I am working on for Amazing Spider-Man. So there you guys have it. This has been my haul for my trip to Michigan, a trip that I absolutely enjoyed. I was able to spend some wonderful time with my grandmother, with my father. I was able to go back and explore various parts of my childhood, my early neighborhoods that I grew up in, the church that I went to. I went to my high school, my library, the house that I lived in junior high and in high school. I was able to just reminisce, and it was honestly a fantastic time. I'm not sure how much footage I'm going to be able to squeeze into this video, but I may do a bonus video that I'll release at some point in the future. So more to come on a lot of that stuff, but we'll see how much I can get into this video. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so at Regie Collects on Instagram and regiecollects@gmail.com. Take care. Oh, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so. That way you can stay abreast of all the content that I release on a weekly basis. Take care.